All right, I'm Kevin Chaos. This is the Trusty 8 Podcast, and this is October 21st, 2022. Hope y'all are having a lovely Friday evening so far. I'm doing all right. I'm gonna get right into it. Going minimalist for this one. Going super low tech, super minimalist. Still working on that intro, but you see, it's getting there. It's getting there. And it's getting somewhere. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to get right into the news here. I heard about this. Well, I mean, we've been talking about this for a while, but I heard about the legitimacy of this for the first time on President Sunday's stream. President Sunday did quite a bit of research on this last night, and I was watching some of that. I found this article from Advocate as of Wednesday by Christopher Wiggins. This is the federal Don't Say Gay bill introduced by House Republicans. Watch out for this. If you've been hiding under a rock, living in some kind of seclusion, you just don't know what the fuck's going on. They've been saying this Don't Say Gay bill was happening for a while. They introduced it, I believe, in Florida, and it kind of started spreading amongst the Republicans. And now here we are, and it's in the House. So, all right, we'll just get right into the article. All right, Republicans in the House of Representatives introduced legislation based on a right-wing conspiracy theory and proposed what critics are calling a federal Don't Say Gay bill. The bill prohibits using federal funds for programs or events that contain sexually oriented material geared toward children under 10. Sexually oriented material is in quotations there, by the way, such as drag queen story hours, which have attracted the attention of conservative politicians and right-wing activists. On Tuesday, Louisiana Representative Mike Johnson, how the hell did I miss? Never mind. Mike Johnson introduced the bill with more than 30 House Republican co-sponsors. I have a lisp now. A lisp. The introduction of this legislation is a reaction to a far-right conservative outrage over innocuous drag performances that have included the presence of children at family-friendly drag events. An online video of a child attending a drag brunch at a Miami restaurant was widely circulated among right-wing Twitter users in July, and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis filed a federal complaint against the restaurant in which he cited a 1947 state Supreme Court ruling that men impersonating women constitutes a public nuisance, reported by The Hill. That's interesting. A state Supreme Court ruling that men impersonating women constitutes a public nuisance. I've never heard of that before. It's very much worth looking into. Where's their legal precedent there? And why were they wrong? Well, we know why they were wrong, but how can we, demonstrate it in the legal arena? The outlet notes that Johnson's proposal, the Stop Sexualization of Children Act, says government agencies on the federal and state level, including Department of Defense, have used federal funds in the past to promote and host quote-unquote sexually oriented events like drag queen story hours for children. Florida Senator Marco Rubio in May obsessed about a drag queen story hour event scheduled at a U.S. military base in Ramstein, Germany, and pushed to have the military cancel it. He also included drag panic in one of his campaign commercials recently, leading to drag queen Lil Miss Hot Mess and Glad asking why the Republican lawmaker is so obsessed with drag queens. Why indeed? In a move that harkens back to the 1984 movie Footloose, when Kevin Bacon's character discovers a small Midwestern town in which dancing was made illegal, Republicans once again prove that life imitates art. Specifically, the legislation prohibits taxpayer dollars from funding programs, events, or literature that expose children younger than 10 to lewd or lascivious dancing. Isn't that already a thing, though? I mean, you got to be 18 to see lewd or lascivious dancing, I thought. Although children in the United States are not being exposed to inappropriate sexual behavior, nor are they being sexualized, in fact, a GLSEN study released Tuesday. I don't know what GLSEN is. Yeah, they could really use for more citations. Study released Tuesday shows that most kids don't even learn about LGBTQ plus topics in school. The bill reveals its actual bigotry within its text. It defines quote-unquote sexually oriented material as images, descriptions, and simulations of sexual acts, genitalia, or, quote, any topic involving gender identity, gender dysphoria, transgenderism, sexual orientation, or related subjects, unquote. Harvard Cyber Law Clinic instructor Alejandra Carballo described the bill as a federal version of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' Don't Say Gay law, which evidently it is. Universities, public schools, hospitals, medical clinics, etc. could all be defunded if they host any event discussing LGBTQ plus people and children could be present. She wrote on Twitter. Oh, this was a quote from Caraballo on Twitter. And continued, the way they define sexually oriented material simply includes anything about LGBTQ people. Caraballo warns that one enforcement mechanism in the bill is similar to Texas's SB 8, which made ordinary citizens bounty hunters if they suspected a person was involved with an abortion. Quote, it includes a private right of action against any government official and private entity for a violation, she writes. This is SB 8-style bounty lawsuits against anyone accepting federal funds. This will be a ban on all discussion of LGBTQ people in any entity that receives federal funds, unquote. Johnson claimed in a statement that his bill is critical to stop Democrats' quote, misguided crusade to indoctrinate kids with sexual imagery and radical gender ideology. Wow. And what more do you expect from these guys, right? That's what you get. Yeah, so they are moving forward with this. They're feeling good after Roe, and that's as another article put it. And so yeah, that's what's going on there. So it's going to be a hard fight. I mean, they're taking it to they're taking it up to the top, and it's going to take all of us to smite it down. Yeah, cool. I saw somebody lurking in the chat. No comments, but that's all right. Hopefully the sound is okay. As I said, low tech, no mic, no special features tonight. Just me reading news and, obviously the new intro. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll play it again at the end for anybody who might have missed it. Yeah. All right, this is from the Tehran Times. Understanding the EU push against Iran. Over the last few days, the European Union took the lead in propagating unsubstantiated allegations against Iran and imposing sanctions on Tehran that will further undermine the diplomatic atmosphere between Iran and the West. So mind the source here. This appears to be some state-run news, but we're going to see. Oh, where's the article here? It's not showing me the rest of the article. It just showed me a blurb. A blurb. And so it's not allowing me to read the rest. That doesn't help me understand anything. This is just... Let's see if we can find another version of that. See, I can see the excerpt from the article, but then when I click it, it only shows me that headline. Anyway, I was hoping to read from this particular source, but that's not working out. So let's go to another one. Excuse me. Yeah, busy Friday. Super busy today. In case you haven't noticed. So check out the Patreon page. It's out there. Stuff is getting worked out. Okay, and then so we'll go with this one. Okay, from Reuters. Dubai. October 21st, protests broke out in restive southeastern Iran on Friday, with demonstrators attacking banks, state media reported, as a senior hardline cleric called for tough measures against demonstrators across the country. The Islamic Republic has been gripped by 5 weeks of demonstrations that erupted after the death in police custody of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini last month. On Friday, police arrested at least 57 people described as rioters after protesters threw rocks and attacked the banks in the city of Zahedan. Provincial Police Chief Ahmad Tahiri was quoted as saying by the official news agency IRNA. State television said up to 300 protesters marched in the city after Friday prayers. It showed banks and shops with smashed windows. Videos posted on social media purported to show thousands of protesters chanting "Death to the Dictator," a reference to Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and the "Death to the Basijis," in reference to the Basij militia, which has been widely used to crack down on protests, but Reuters could not verify the video. Zahedan is the capital of restive southeastern Sistan Baluchistan province, which is the home of Iran's Baluch minority. Amnesty International has said security forces killed at least 66 people in a violent crackdown after Friday prayers in Zahedan on September 30th. Zahedan's top Sunni cleric said on Friday senior Iranian officials had to take responsibility for the September 30th killings. For what crime were they killed? Officials, the country's managers, the Islamic Republic's supreme leader, who commands all armed forces, are all responsible before God, said Molavi Abdulhamid, and a leading Sunni cleric, according to a video of his Friday prayers sermon in Zahedan posted on his website. State media said at the time that unidentified armed individuals opened fire on a police station, prompting security forces to return fire. Sistan Baluchistan, on the borders with Pakistan and Afghanistan, is a hotbed of Sunni Muslim militant activity against the Shiite-dominated government. In Tehran, hardline cleric Ahmad Khatami said, "The judiciary should deal with the rioters who betrayed the nation and poured water into the enemy's watermill." Okay, in such a way that others don't again fancy to riot. Is that like an actual thing? Did they actually pour water into a watermill, or is that like some kind of thing I'm not understanding? I can't think of the thing I'm thinking of right now. Okay. They have told deceived kids if they stay in the streets for a week, the regime will fall. Dream on, Khatami said in a Friday prayer sermon, according to state media. Iran has blamed thugs linked to foreign enemies for the unrest. The nationwide protests have turned into one of the boldest challenges to Iran's clerical rulers since the 1979 revolution. Protesters have called for the downfall of the Islamic Republic, although the protests do not seem close to toppling the system. Videos posted on social media and said to be from northwestern Tabriz showed protesters shouting "disgraceful" at riot police who shot tear gas to disperse them on Friday. Tabriz, Iran's sixth most populous city, is home to many from the Azeri ethnic minority. Other online videos purported to show protests in the central city of Isfahan and in Tehran's Ekbatan high-rise neighborhood. The activist news agency HRANA said in a posting that 244 protesters had been killed in the arrest, including 32 minors. It said 28 members of the security forces were killed, and more than 12,570 people had been arrested as of Friday in protests in 114 cities and towns and some 82 universities. Meanwhile, CNN reported that the White House was in talks with billionaire Elon Musk about setting up SpaceX's satellite internet service Starlink in Iran. That would be a bold, bold move. I like that. The satellite-based broadband service could help Iranians circumvent government restrictions on accessing the internet and certain social media platforms. Iranian activists say videos of protests have been delayed because of the curbs. Separately, Germany issued a travel warning for Iran, saying there was a real risk of being arbitrarily arrested and sentenced to long prison terms, above all for dual nationals. Friday's announcement raised the warning level for Iran travel after Berlin strongly advised against it last month. On Wednesday, an Iranian news agency said security forces had arrested 14 foreigners, including American, British, and French citizens, for their involvement in the protest. Reported by Michael Georgi in Dubai Newsroom. Okay, so that's the Reuters thing. I was hoping to see what was up with this. So I guess the EU is just making statements against Iran, and they don't like it. So that's mostly what we have over there. I saw they're spending like $14 million on a new train station in the city near me. So that's interesting. In Bay Area news, $14 million for a train station. What will they think of next? Yeah, so I've got the weekend off. Just gonna try and make the best of it. Not too much going on. I may hang out with some family. Probably do another visit with my kid. That's the general thing we're doing here. So just trying to keep it on the straight and narrow and keep my head above water. Kevin Chaos, Stupid Monkey Philosophy on the Trusty 8 podcast doing I heard it on the news. That was way out of key. I'm sorry. All right. This one's from BBC. Ukraine war. Zelensky accuses Russia of plot to blow up dam by Paul Kirby. Quite a title there. In his overnight address, President Volodymyr Zelensky accused Russia of preparing to blow up a dam at a hydroelectric plant in southern Ukraine, which would lead to large-scale disaster. The dam is under Russian occupation, but Ukrainian forces are closing in. Russia has already accused Ukraine of firing missiles at the Kakhovka Dam. Kakhovka. It's Kakhovka. All K's. There's 3 of them in there, just so you know. Learn Russian, damn it. All right, we continue. The dam also provides Russia with one of the few remaining routes across the Dnieper River in the partially occupied Kherson region. Russian-installed authorities in Kherson have rejected Ukraine's allegations of a plot to destroy the structure. They blamed Ukrainian forces for an attack on another key crossing, the Antonovsky Bridge. 4 people were killed, including the head of a TV channel, officials said. Russia began evacuating its proxy authorities in Kherson this week, but also said 50 to 60,000 civilians would leave too, a measure condemned as forced deportations by Kiev authorities. Russia's new military commander in Ukraine, General Sergei Surovikin, alleged that Ukrainian forces could be planning banned methods of warfare in Kherson City and the hydroelectric dam, and argued that justified the evacuation of the civilian population. The Institute for the Study of War, an independent U.S.-based think tank, has suggested Russia is likely continuing to prepare for a false flag attack on the Kakhovka hydroelectric plant by creating information conditions for Russian forces to blow up the dam after they pull out of the western Kherson, and then accuse Ukraine of flooding the river and surrounding settlements. President Zelensky told EU leaders by video on Thursday that Russia had already destroyed more than a third of Ukraine's energy infrastructure, with the aim of creating as many problems with the electricity and heating as possible over the winter months. For the first time since the start of the Russian invasion, Ukrainians have been asked to use less electricity, with nationwide limits on usage between 7 o'clock and that must be this was military time 0700 and 2300. So that's, that's like all day. Yeah. If the Kakhovka Dam were destroyed, Mr. Zelensky warned it could devastate the water supply to much of the south and leave Europe's biggest nuclear plant at Zaporizhzhia without cooling water. Zaporizhzhia. I'm pronouncing it like an Italian now. Anyway, I was close. Quote, this dam of hydroelectric power plant, the dam of this hydroelectric, I better get it right if I'm going to quote it right. The dam of this hydroelectric power plant holds a volume of about 18 million cubic meters of water. I think that'd be, yeah. It should be more specific. I don't read whatever this is. He said, if Russian terrorists blow up this dam, more than 80 settlements, including Kherson, will be in the zone of rapid flooding. Hundreds of thousands of people could be affected. Apologies. Am I unmuted now? Yes, okay. It took me a second to mute and unmute my mic. I had a big cough there. I'm very congested. Okay, we continue the article here. The Ukrainian leader also said if the dam were destroyed, then the North Crimean Channel would simply disappear. The canal, built in 1975, provides Russian-annexed Crimea with a reported 85% of its water supply. An early act in Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February was blowing up a dam that Ukraine had built in the canal after the peninsula was seized in 2014, accusing Russia of not paying for the water. Several Russian commentators have pointed out that areas under occupation would be worst hit if the Kakhovka Dam were destroyed, although dozens of communities under Ukrainian control would be badly affected too. Pro-Kremlin newspaper that I cannot pronounce said a dam explosion would prompt a I think this is 5 mile high wave. See, they use this M. I guess the M's are miles, meters. I don't know. This is BBC, right? Prompt a 5M high wave that would wash away all villages besides the Dnieper River at a rate of 25 kilometers per hour. Within 2 hours, it said the water would hit Kherson City and flood vast areas over 3 days. However, presidential office advisor Mikhailo Podolyak said that mining the dam was all part of a Surovikin plan that involved flooding territory to stop Ukraine's counteroffensive. President Zelensky said that if the Russians were seriously considering blowing up the dam, it meant they realized they would not merely lose control of Kherson, but the entire south, including Crimea. All right, and that's our news for today. $14 million trains, exploding dams, don't say gay, and the struggle for equality and freedom continues in Iran. That's how I heard it on the news. I am your host, Trusty Ape, Stupid Monkey, Kevin Chaos, whatever you call me, just don't call me late for dinner. All right? All right. We'll see you on the next one. Much love, everyone.